Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm pretty excited to bring you the latest release of Magic Square's Munitioner. This is the MS-B52C. This is the Toon version. The Toon colors. A lot of people are upset that this should have been what they released first, advertised as Toon, but they didn't. They went with that first release for the painted windows, which we'll compare. But if I'm honest with myself, I don't think Magic Square ever said it was Toon. I think it was advertised that way by merchants. But nonetheless, a lot of people feel this is what we should have gotten in the first place. I tend to agree, but I'm not mad that I got the original version. It's a great piece. So let's go ahead and get into it. But first, on the box, once again, for this version, we've got the color or the gold trim along the box, which is something new. Not a big deal, just something to help make it stand out. But we're not here for boxes, are we? Let's go ahead and get into it. As always, we're going to start with accessories. So in the box, you do get the wheel that goes on his back in alt mode and on the back of the Jeep as well. Pretty simple, silver paint, same as what we got before. We get his missile blaster, which has always been interesting to me, making a missile a blaster. But regardless, detailed well enough. It's definitely a missile. Done in black plastic. Again, identical to the previous releases. No changes here. We get the large cannon that mounts on his arm, as well as on the mount on the back of the Jeep mode. Again, black plastic, no changes. Nicely detailed. Hollow, not hollow on the end. But you have multiple ways of mounting this, which is nice. You get the mount for Jeep mode. Pretty simple. There's only one way to mount the accessories on here. It goes in between the legs in Jeep mode and gives you that Jeep accessory look. And lastly, you get the foot for combined mode. Done in the new color scheme. Same articulation as we saw before. Nothing changed, just a different color. So you get the ankle pivot and toe tilt. Nicely done. You got some details in the actual sculpt, which is nice. But nice piece. And that brings us to Swindle. The most obvious difference between this and the original is the gray face. It's nicely painted. You got purple for the eyes. We'll do articulation again just to say we did, but the head does tilt all the way back. Nicely done. You've got a little bit of side to side for some attitude, full rotation. Solid across the shoulders, which is nice. Speaking of shoulders, they can go all the way up. Full 360. It's on a ball and a swivel, so lots of range choices up and down. But you do have swivel above the elbow. Speaking of the elbow, you get more than 90 degrees, and hands do rotate. Nicely done. This is where we're going to run into some of the differences. The blue clear plastic, a little bit darker than the IDW release. And then it is clear plastic, so the yellow is actually painted on that part. Purple across the abdomen. Completely different shade. Definitely more vibrant and brighter, but nicely done. Once again, you do have that full ab crunch, full rotation. Then you come down to the legs. Light blue headlights on the hip skirts. That's exactly the same. Hip skirts do come out. Now, the interesting thing about this particular figure is the entire hip moves, so hip skirts and all, giving you the ability to get a nice kick up. Nice articulation there. As per the norm with Magic Square, recently you don't get much back at all. But you do get out 90 degrees, rotation at the hip. The knee does have a double bend, so it gets you the full run. As far as the feet, you do have you've got a great tilt, a little bit of toe up and down, but not much. That's the only disappointing part about the articulation on this guy, is just that toe. But you do have the ability to spin the toe and move a little bit. It's on a ball and a mushroom peg, so just a little limited, but still providing a great range of motion. So let's compare to the original release. This release is the one that sparked all the anger because of the face being black and no secondary painted gray face. I still think he looks good. It's just not painted. So detail is a little bit lacking. But you can see right away the difference in the windshield and the difference in the purple. But the most obvious thing is the difference in the yellow. A lot more orange, yellowish added to the mix in this coloring, which I think really brings out that cartoon accuracy. Other than that, articulation, everything is exactly the same. There's the view from the back. Again, you can notice the purple and yellow differences, but both really, really well done. As far as what's going to be my bot mode, it's going to be this guy for sure. Now let's compare him to the IDW version. As you can see, they both have the gray face. Once again, the purple is darker on the IDW version, much more bright and vibrant on this new release. But you can tell, looking at the windshields, the blue is darker on the windshield on this version. So you see less of the bits on the inside. Not too much of a difference, but it's certainly there. Certainly visible. And then, of course, you do still have the difference in the yellows. This is the exact same as the original release. This is the new color. So, definitely still a good choice if that's what you want, especially for the toy version of Bruticus. And now at this point, you can use this guy for either or, which is great. So if you missed out on either one of the originals, it's definitely a viable option. And there are the three together. So tell me, which is your favorite? Honestly, I'm going to go with the one in the middle. But let me know what you think in the comments. And here he is with the recently released version of Brawl. Both in the tune colors. The differences are subtle, but awesome. For the alt mode, again, the mold still looks fantastic, but coloration difference is really nice. I like it. Definitely more yellow. I like the clear blue windows, silver on the wheels, light blue on the headlights, black plastic for the bumper. Nothing new really here, except for the coloration. You've got the functioning turret, which does rotate. The missile and the rocket, or the cannon, can move up and down, although just bear in mind it's a little stiff because it's new. You can adjust the canopy a little bit if you want. You've got the steering wheel in there. We've seen all this before. The biggest difference is the color. So more yellow, brighter purple. And we'll bring in, again, this is the original release. So there's that color difference in the purple, definitely more vibrant. The obvious difference in the windshield, this being painted. The wheels, exactly the same. But you've got that coloration difference there. We'll also bring in the second IDW version. Again, obviously, color difference there. Windshield is a little bit darker blue on this version, as you can see. A little bit more of a fog to it, possibly, but barely. Just deeper blue. And again, other than that, other than the tan, it's about the same. But definitely leaning towards the C version as being my favorite, since I do feel it is the more cartoon accurate. Here he is with Brawl. And for tradition, here he is with New Age Jazz. So let's start wrapping things up by talking about the negatives. Lots of negativity and lots of controversy around these releases. A lot of people think that, one, this should have been released first, or they should have made it a release order announcement. Something just to make people aware that this was coming as well. But to be honest, this is Magic Square's business model, so this is definitely a case of the positive outweighs the negatives, despite the gripes that you have. When it comes to the figure itself, it's got fantastic articulation. The sculpting is definitely very toon accurate. It's got the details that you would want, and it's a very top tier figure from Magic Square. One of their best. I have no complaints about the figure itself, so I do recommend it. Despite which version you get, then I think that you're going to have a fantastic figure. Do I feel it's worth the replacement? No. Not if you already have the set and you're happy with it. Stick with what you have if you're happy. So, I got mine from showzstore.com. Check them out. If you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to get your bell on so you get notified of future content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.